Governor Ralph Northam has ordered Virginians to stay home to help stop the spread of COVID-19. And that means you're probably parking the car for longer than normal. Morgan Dean with AAA Mid-Atlantic joins us by Skype with some great car care tips so that the vehicle is ready when we're ready to go. Thanks so much for being with us, Morgan. Good to see you.
Hey, good morning. Good to see you too, Jessica.
Yeah, we're in idle right now, right? The cars are in the driveway and that's where they've been.
Quite literally, we are in idle right now, and I'm thinking, if you were like me, you hadn't been thinking about, wait, I'm not going to be driving my vehicle. What do I need to do to make sure that it's ready to go when we are kind of set free and allowed to start doing some of that driving again? So AAA's pulled together some interesting information that I think a lot of people need to hear and be thinking about right now, because now is the time to do it. Among those, a battery tender for your car. You want your car to start when you do need to use it. Very simple device. Some people call them battery maintainers. Some people call them trickle chargers. You hook them up to your battery, you plug it into the wall in your garage or in your driveway, and it keeps that battery charged for you whenever you might need to use the car.
That's a great insight. Is that something that you would do once a week, or how often would you use that?
Some of them, you got to read the directions because they're all specific. You can
Right.
hook up to the car and it'll maintain your battery for you, and you don't even have to mess with it.
Okay.
You do need to, of course, take it off before you do try and start driving, but it'll maintain the battery for you.
Right. That's probably not even in the fine print. They probably put that right in the front page of those directions, so that's a good one. But keeping that battery exercised is great. Some folks may be saying, like, well, can't I just start it up and let it run idle? But I guess that can run in idle. That can maybe cause its own problems.
Well, yeah, it's not a bad thing to start your vehicle up. I wouldn't necessarily leave it sitting if you're going to start it up. I think I would drive it around for 5 or 10 minutes. That also will keep everything in the engine running, won't cause any problems with your tires, and keeps it from just sitting too long.
Yeah.
And it starts it up and recharges everything. So drive it around just a little bit. Maybe you drive real slowly through the neighborhood, wave at the neighbors that you're not seeing here and there. But that's also a good way to keep everything going as well.
All right, great insight on that one. So keeping the battery, in a good state is number one. What else do you have?
You also have to be thinking about the fuel that's already in the tank. First of all, you want to go ahead and fill your car up to as close to full as possible. You do not want to leave your tank empty while it's sitting for a long, long time, because that can lead to corrosion inside the tank. So at that same time, once you filled your car up, you need to get yourself a fuel stabilizer. Sta-Bil is probably the most famous one that's on the market out there. A lot of folks that have boats know about this because they do this when they winterize their boats. You want to put Sta-Bil down into that. It's really easy to do. You fill your tank up, you measure it on the little container for the stabilizer, pour it down in the tank, let it circulate for a second, and then here's the important part. Drive the car for a couple of minutes to let it circulate all the way through. This will keep your fuel from separating inside of your tank. It'll also keep it from gumming up any of the parts of the engine.
Yeah, that makes sense, to give it a little exercise, like you said, to kind of get it through some of those lines too, so everything is stabilized. That's great. So battery, keep our eye also on the fuel and make sure that that's stabilized.
Right. And also you got to think about the tires, because if your car, very heavy vehicle, is sitting there on the tires for a long, long time, they can get flat or soft spots or hard spots on parts of the tire and cause them to wear unevenly or wear quicker than they should. So what you want to do, you mentioned it already, if you can take it, rotate your vehicles around, kind of move them around your driveway every once in a while, that's a good thing to do with that. If they are going to be sitting for a while, AAA recommends that you add an extra 10 PSI over your vehicle's recommendation. That way the tire is pumped up and will not get those soft or flat spots on them.
Interesting. Okay, well, keeping those tires in good ship shape. And all of this is really important, Morgan. We put so much into our vehicles and expect so much out of them. It probably hasn't been top of mind at this point that they've been parked. So it is important to give them a little TLC so they are there at the ready.
Well, yeah, we look at the pictures in the mornings when you all show traffic out there, which traffic doesn't exist at all. So few people are driving their vehicles, and it has kind of become an afterthought with so many people working from home. So now's the time to kind of focus on those things. Also, and here's a funny one to think about too, Jessica, with windshield wipers, you got to put yourself back into the mode of being in the wintertime, even though we really didn't have much of a winter this year here in Central Virginia. AAA recommends that you flip those windshield wiper blades just out straight on the vehicle, kind of like you might do during a snowstorm or an ice storm. That way it'll keep the pressure from the blades pressing against the windshield. Sometimes if they sit for a long, long time, they can actually get stuck to the glass. Also, that pressure pushing down on them starts to bend and deform the windshield wiper blades themselves, and then it won't work like they're supposed to. So just flip them straight out, flip them back down when you go to drive the car for the first time, and you'll be in good shape.
Thank you, because the only thing worse than a rainy day, I mean, unless you really need the rain, right? The only thing worse than a rainy day is having that schmear that happens across the windshield from crummy windshield wipers.
For sure. And of course, you're in the middle of a rainy day before you realize it, and then it's too late. And you don't want that to happen.
And I appreciate you have solved one of life's great mysteries for me. I never really knew why the arm of the windshield wiper would go out during a storm. Now I realize it's because it would bend it and they get, they get funky.
Oh, solving life's mysteries. I'm glad we could do that today.
Well, thank you. Some great insights today. We really appreciate it, Morgan.
Jessica, thank you. Have yourself a great day.
You too. Good to see you. We appreciate all those insights, and we'll post a link on our website later today. You'll find it right there, WTVR.com/VTM, to connect with more information from AAA Mid-Atlantic. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.